Chapter 7. A boy's first bra. The next few days passed in a blur of routine, a routine that was becoming more and more feminine with each passing moment. Lauren was wearing panties and nylons exclusively, even at school, although he always had a pair of ankle socks over top of his nylons just in case. No one seemed to notice, and the fear of being found out that had once plagued him now felt like a distant worry. He simply carried on as if it were normal. Each afternoon, after school, he would come home and change into one of his new girl's outfits, always under Nora's encouraging eye. By now, she had convinced him to order a wig, a mid-length brunette style that framed his face perfectly. Lauren found himself wearing it at home regularly, adding yet another layer to his transformation. The brief moments when his mother came home were the only times he wore any of his old clothes at home. For that short window in the evening, Lauren reverted back into Lawrence, the boy his mother knew. But as soon as she went to bed, it was back to Lauren, back to being the girl he was steadily becoming. It was easier now to look at his reflection and see Lauren staring back at him. Gone was the shock of seeing a girl where a boy used to be. Instead, it felt natural, almost comforting. And with each passing day, it became harder and harder to think of himself as Lawrence at all. The more time he spent as Lauren, the more his sense of self shifted, though he still clung to the idea that this was all just for fun, something he did with Nora, his best friend. He remained deep in denial, unwilling to face just how far he had already come. For now, it was enough to continue telling himself that this was just for fun. It was Thursday after school, and Lauren texted Nora, letting her know he had a few pit stops to make before heading home. First on the list was the library. He had finished the first high school girl book and was ready to return it, along with the stack of magazines they had pored over together last week. In their place, Lauren grabbed the second book in the series as well as some new magazines, this time focusing on the ones with quizzes. He had enjoyed doing those with Nora, laughing together at the silly questions. By the time Lauren had checked everything out, Nora was already outside the library, leaning against the railing with her usual easy grin. "Get anything good?" she teased as they started walking. "Yeah, just the next book and some magazines," Lauren replied, a smile tugging at his lips. Their next stop was the mini outdoor mall. Lauren needed to pick up some toiletries for his mom, so they wandered through the store, grabbing the usual household items, nothing out of the ordinary. But just as they were about to head to the cashier, Nora's eyes lit up with her next suggestion. "You know," she began casually, "if you're already living as a girl at home, you really shouldn't be using those old boy soaps and shampoos anymore." Lauren blinked, taken off guard. "What do you mean?" Nora shrugged as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "You've already got the wardrobe, the panties, the nylons. Why not complete the experience? You should be using girls' products too, something more fitting for who you are now." Lauren hesitated, his mind racing. Was it really necessary? But as usual, Nora's reasoning was hard to argue with, and before he knew it, they were back in the aisles, picking out a whole new range of products. By the time they reached the cashier, the pile of items he had gathered for his mom and the house was joined by a slew of new personal care products: shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, body mist, lotion, face wash, a lady's razor, and face cream. Nora even nudged him to add scented hand lotion, a couple of packs of drugstore nylon stay-up stockings, and a lightly tinted chapstick. As the cashier rang up his purchases, Lauren couldn't help but feel like he had crossed yet another line, deepening his commitment to this new life. He glanced over at Nora, who gave him a wink, as if to say, "You're doing great, girl." Exiting the drugstore, Lauren was ready to head straight home, his shopping bags full of new toiletries and personal care products. But his eye caught sight of a sign from the store across from them, and before he could acknowledge what he had read, Nora gasped in amazement too, her eyes wide with excitement. "Look at that," she exclaimed, pointing across the street to a small boutique lingerie store. The display windows were filled with delicate, feminine pieces, a definite step up in quality and elegance compared to the panties Lauren had ordered from Victoria's Secret. But what had initially caught their attention was a small pink sign by the door, panty clearance, 10 for $25. They never have sales, Nora whispered excitedly, practically bouncing on her toes. You have to take advantage of this, Lauren. They must be clearing out old stock for new styles. It's a steal! Lauren froze, feeling a familiar wave of panic rising in his chest. Buying lingerie online had been nerve-wracking enough, but actually walking into a lingerie store and buying panties in person? Nora, I can't, he stammered, shaking his head. I'm not a girl, I can't go in there and buy panties. But Nora, as usual, had all the answers. She gave him a sly grin. Lauren, you're already wearing panties under your jeans. No one's going to bat an eye. Plus, it's a really good deal, you'd be crazy to pass it up. And if anyone asks, you can just say you're buying them for me. Lauren hesitated, feeling his resolve crumble as it always did around Nora. She made everything seem so easy, so normal. He sighed, glancing back at the sign. The deal was too good to ignore, and the thought of adding even more to his growing panty collection tugged at him, even though he wouldn't admit it. Fine, he muttered, feeling the nerves coil in his stomach. But I'm not doing this alone. You're coming with me. Nora grinned, her victory sealed. Deal. With a deep breath, Lauren followed Nora into the boutique. The soft lighting and delicate displays immediately made him feel out of place, but Nora's confident presence beside him kept him moving forward. He could already feel the weight of the decision sinking in, but there was no turning back now. Once inside the boutique, Lauren's first instinct was to make this as quick as possible. He headed straight for the clearance bin, determined to pick out his 10 pairs and get out of there before anyone noticed him. He sifted through the lacy, delicate fabrics, feeling his heart pound in his chest. But as he worked his way through the bin, he caught the eye of the shop owner. She was a woman in her mid-40s, with a tough exterior, sharp eyes, and a no-nonsense posture. But there was a softness in her gaze, a kindness that was well hidden behind her professionalism. Approaching Lauren, she offered a polite smile. I am Madame Dubois, the owner of this boutique. May I help you with something? Lauren stammered, glancing nervously at Nora, who was standing nearby, grinning at his discomfort. Oh, I'm just picking up some panties for my girlfriend, he said, feeling a knot of awkwardness tighten in his stomach. The lie felt heavy and weird, especially since he had only ever thought of Nora as his best friend. Come to think of it, he had never really considered Nora a potential girlfriend, probably because, in her eyes, she saw him as a girl. The shop owner raised a skeptical eyebrow, not even glancing at Nora, clearly seeing right through Lauren's flimsy excuse. Is that so? She replied, her voice carrying a slight French accent. The world would be a better place if more men were allowed to experience femininity without judgment, she scoffed lightly, though there was no malice in her tone. Lauren's eyes widened in surprise at her candor, but before he could react, the woman added with a knowing smile, Take your time, ma fille timide, there are still plenty of panties in the bins that'll fit you. Most of the smaller sizes have already been picked through, but you're likely a medium to large. Nora, ever helpful, chimed in with a grin. Lucky you, you'll have plenty of options. With the ice broken and his initial panic easing, Lauren relaxed a little. He smiled sheepishly at Madame Dubois, grateful for her understanding, and resumed his search with more confidence. Before long, he had picked out 10 exquisite pairs of panties, some lacy, some silky, all far more delicate than anything he had worn before. As he placed them into his basket, Lauren couldn't help but feel a strange sense of accomplishment. Nora, satisfied with the outcome, gave him an approving nod. You did good, girl. As Lauren was about to finish his purchase, Madame Dubois spoke up again. Are you interested in a bra, ma petite chérie? We're running another great deal, buy one, get one free. Lauren's nerves instantly returned. A bra felt like another level entirely, one he wasn't sure he was ready for. He hesitated, the words catching in his throat, but Nora was quick to nudge him forward. Come on, Lauren. You've already come this far. Sensing Lauren's hesitation, Madame Dubois gave him a gentle, understanding smile. She had clearly picked up on the nature of his journey. You've never worn a bra before, non? She asked. Lauren shook his head. No, I haven't. Her smile widened. Then we'll need to get you measured first. Before Lauren could fully process what was happening, Madame Dubois was already guiding him toward the changing stalls in the back. Take your shirt off and wait here, she instructed, and moments later, she returned with a measuring tape. As she worked, her practiced eyes noticed the telltale waistband of Lauren's panties and pantyhose peeking out beneath his pants, confirming what she suspected, but she said nothing of it. She measured him with precision, announcing his band size as 35 inches. You could wear a 34 or a 36 band size, she explained. For your size, you'd be better in a B cup, although an A or C cup could work too if you want to go up or down a size. Lauren nodded numbly, still trying to wrap his head around this new step. Madame Dubois handed him a simple black full-coverage bra in a 36B and helped him adjust the straps to fit perfectly. The cups have built-in but removable padding, she said, showing him how it worked. It'll give you the illusion of a fuller chest. She left him alone for a moment with a woman's t-shirt to try on, encouraging him to look at himself in the mirror with and without the shirt to see how he felt. As he stood in front of the mirror, Lauren couldn't deny how strange but not unpleasant it felt. This was, without a doubt, the peak of femininity for him. He wanted to hate it, to feel repelled by the foreign sensation of wearing a bra. But the truth was, he couldn't bring himself to dislike it. Instead, it dawned on him that this was another step toward becoming more of the girl that Nora insisted was inside him. He was wearing a bra and he didn't hate it. As if she knew what was running through his mind, Madame Dubois returned with another bra, this time wireless. This one is an invisible bra, she explained. It's perfect for wearing in public if you don't want anyone to know. No bumps or straps will show. Only you will know you're wearing it. Lauren stammered out an excuse. I wasn't really planning on wearing a bra in public, just at home. Madame Dubois simply smiled, her tone light but firm. Once a girl starts wearing a bra, it's forever. Her words left Lauren speechless. He didn't have time to process what she meant before she handed him a third bra, a simple cotton one designed for sleeping. Accepting the inevitable, Lauren knew he was going to leave the store with 3 bras. But the she wasn't finished yet. Madame Dubois reminded him of the sale, buy one get one free, so she added the same 3 bras but in lighter colors, explaining that Lauren would need both classic black and a neutral tone for each bra to match any panties he might be wearing. By the time he left the store, $300 poorer, Lauren was carrying a light pink bag filled with bras and panties. At Madame Dubois's suggestion, he even wore the black invisible bra out of the store. Enjoy the Modus Nouvelle Fille, come back anytime and I'll be happy to help you find new things for you to wear, Madame Dubois offering her continued support with a warm smile. As they exited the store, Nora nudged him playfully. My Lauren, your first bra. You're a big girl now, you should carry that bag home with pride. Lauren left the mall and walked home nervously with Nora, feeling like all eyes were on him, a boy carrying a large bag that left no question of the contents within. Lauren hoped people who saw him would assume that he was carrying the bag for Nora. Coming home, Lauren raced inside and ran upstairs with the pink shopping bag, feeling the weight of the day's events. As he stepped into the refuge of his room, he instantly felt safer. He pulled out the new panties he had purchased and was intending to toss them into the hamper to wash before wearing them. But before he could, Nora raised a hand in caution. "Hold up! These are way too fancy for the washing machine. You'll have to hand wash them if you want them to last." Lauren hesitated, looking at the delicate fabric. "Really?" "Really," Nora nodded. "And that goes for your bras, too. You can machine wash them in a pinch, but they should be hand washed periodically to keep them in good shape." Sighing, Lauren placed the new panties in a corner of the room, mentally adding hand washing to his growing list of responsibilities. Turning his attention to the rest of his haul, he began sorting everything out. Toiletries first. He took the shampoo, conditioner, lotion, and other products to the bathroom, replacing all of his old, masculine stuff. It felt strange and surreal, seeing the bathroom stocked with items more suited for a girl. Nora grinned as she watched, clearly pleased with how things were shaping up. Next, Lauren went to the linen closet and, at Nora's urging, pulled out a guest set of pink-colored linens to replace his old, neutral-toned bedding. As the new linens covered his bed, the transformation of his room became even more apparent. Finally, it was time to deal with the new bras. Lauren stood in front of his dresser, unsure where to put them. His drawers were already packed with his boxers, socks, and other things. But Nora, ever practical, had a solution. "Why don't you take out your old boxers and socks?" she suggested. "You're not really wearing them anymore, right? Plus, with all the new panties, there's no room for everything." Lauren hesitated but knew she was right. He hadn't worn boxers in days, and he doubted he'd be going back to them anytime soon. With a sigh, he pulled out his boxers and most of his socks, folding them and placing them into one of the boxes scattered around his room. "And these shirts," Nora pointed to another drawer of his dresser, "you haven't worn them in ages," referring to neatly folded sweaters and clothes for special occasions that had occupied his third drawer of his dresser. Putting those formal clothes into another box in his room, Lauren managed to free up room in two of his dresser's drawers, which he carefully placed his new bras into the now emptied third drawer, and his new panties with the rest of panties and hosiery in the one below, making a note that he'll need to hand wash his new panties later tonight. As he stepped back, Lauren couldn't help but notice how much had changed. His room now had a distinctly feminine feel. His dresser was full of lingerie, his closet held girls' clothes, and his bathroom was stocked with products meant for a girl. The room in his life was no longer just Lawrence's. It was Lauren's now, too. Nora looked around with approval and smirked. "It's perfect. You even have your own bra and panty drawers now, Lauren." Lauren gave a small, uncertain smile. He wasn't sure if he was ready to fully admit it to himself yet, but there was no denying it, his life had taken a new direction. With his room now fully transformed, it was time for Lauren to change into girls' clothes for the day, this time, with a proper bra. He slipped off the seamless one he had been wearing since leaving the boutique, feeling a mix of anticipation and nerves as he reached for the black full-coverage bra the shopkeeper had fitted him in earlier. With careful hands, he fastened the bra around his chest, adjusting the straps for a comfortable fit. The feeling of the padded cups was still strange, but not unwelcome. Next, Lauren pulled out a green pleated skirt and a blink blouse from his closet, slipping into the soft fabrics with ease. Finally, he donned his mid-length brunette wig, brushing the strands into place. Standing in front of the mirror, Lauren took in his reflection. The bra undeniably added to his feminine look, the appearance of breasts pulling the entire outfit together in a way that felt complete. The slight curve beneath his top gave him a figure he had never imagined for himself, but here he was fully transformed. With a deep breath, Lauren applied a layer of the new lightly tinted chapstick Nora had encouraged him to buy. She had promised that no one would even notice he was wearing it, but as he stared at his reflection, it was clear that the small touch only added to the growing illusion of who he was becoming. Lawrence had completely disappeared. In his place stood Lauren, a girl who, piece by piece, was emerging more fully into the world. Nora, watching from the side, gave a satisfied nod. "Now that's what I'm talking about. You look amazing, Lauren." Lauren couldn't help but agree, even if a small part of him still hesitated to admit it. The reflection in the mirror no longer startled him. He only saw himself as Lauren in the mirror. Chapter 8. A Girl's Gotta Work. 2 weeks passed in a blur, and Lauren was no longer just pretending to be a girl at home. Lauren was now living full-time as a girl, although he remained unaware just how deeply his life has changed. After that trip to the drugstore, his grooming habits had changed entirely. Using exclusively women's toiletries, Lauren's routine now included an assortment of lotions, creams, and products that left him feeling distinctly feminine, and he was consistently enveloped in a floral aroma. With the ice broken from online shopping and having his own things, Lauren's wardrobe had steadily grown. The collection of women's clothes pushed more and more of his male clothing into storage boxes, until barely anything masculine remained. His outfits at home were undeniably feminine. Dresses, skirts, and delicate fabrics had become a norm for Lauren in the privacy of his room, presenting fully as a girl. Accessories had also become part of Lauren's world too. Clip-on earrings, delicate necklaces, and bracelets now adorned him, adding a finishing touch to his outfits. Even his wallet was a women's design, now dainty and sleek, requiring him to carry it either in his school bag or a small travel pouch, since he hadn't yet embraced the idea of carrying a purse in public. Nora had even nudged him into dabbling with makeup and painting his nails. His long fingernails, which Nora had once teased him about, now had a soft sheen of clear polish. His toenails, meanwhile, were painted dark green this week. Even when he had to present as Lawrence at school or during weekends with his mother, Lauren's clothing choices had become gradually more feminine. His jeans replaced by women's cuts, the tags on his t-shirts and hoodies now printed in women's sizes. The once anxious experiment wearing a bra in public had now become a constant part of his life. The discomfort had melted away, replaced by a growing comfort with the feeling of soft fabrics and the subtle curve it gave his appearance. Nora, of course, had been instrumental in guiding him along the way. She was always suggesting something, pointing out additional subtle but feminine steps to adopt to further bring out the girl in him, alleviating his doubts and convincing him that only he himself would notice. In Lauren's mind, this was all for fun, a kind of game he enjoyed playing with Nora. There was a small thrill of doing something in secret that no one around him noticed. He reveled in the challenge of seeing how far he could push the envelope toward being Lauren in public without anyone realizing. Could he wear more feminine clothes? A bit of makeup? A necklace here or some subtle polish there? It excited him to walk through life, undetected, as Lauren. And so despite living almost exclusively as Lauren, Lawrence still thought of himself as a boy. At least most of the time Lauren just kept telling himself that he was a boy who had grown to enjoy being Lauren, and spending time as a girl with Nora. One consequence of Lauren's emergence, though, was that he had started to drift from his mother. Even though they spent weekends together, it was becoming increasingly difficult to hide his growing femininity. He hugged her less, only doing so when he remembered to first take off his bra in advance, and their conversations grew more vague. Lauren was deliberately evasive about his day-to-day life. The biggest change, though, was how protective he had become of his room. He kept his mother out, afraid she might notice the pink linens, the array of toiletries, and the collection of girls' clothes that by now was almost spilling out of his closet. His mother noticed the withdrawal, thinking it was just typical teenage rebellion, and gave him the space. But Lauren could sense her concern. She was worried about him, even though she didn't know why. He reassured her the best he could, but as he continued to enjoy the freedom of being Lauren, the weight of keeping everything hidden grew heavier. The thrill of his secret was balanced by the strain of hiding it from the person closest to him. Another consequence of Lauren's growing transformation was the toll it had taken on his finances. He had been spending more money than ever before, and the once generous savings cushion he had built was quickly depleting. As he finished paying off his credit card bill online, Nora watched with a teasing grin. "It's expensive to be a girl, Lauren," she teased, lounging casually on the bed. Lauren sighed, rubbing his temples. No kidding. His mother had always given him a generous weekly allowance, enough to ensure he could take care of himself during the week while she worked late. But the recent splurges on feminine clothing, toiletries, and accessories had taken a big bite out of his savings. "Girl, keep this up, and you might need to get a job," Nora jested. Lauren thought for a moment. "You know, I used to take website building gigs," he remembered. "I could usually put together a polished product for clients in a couple of days." Nora's eyes lit up. "Well, then. Why don't you do that again? You know, make a little extra cash, and think of all the pretty things you could buy with it." Lauren hesitated. He wasn't trying to spend more on himself, at least, not much more. But he did need to recover from his recent spending spree. Browsing the gig board, Lauren's eyes caught a request that seemed almost too good to be true: $5,000 for a custom website with a private backend, delivery in 1 week's time. "You could do that in your sleep, Lauren," Nora said excitedly, leaning over his shoulder. "And just imagine all the gorgeous clothes and shoes you could buy with that money." Lauren rolled his eyes. "I'm not spending it all on clothes, Nora. Most of it's going to savings and paying down my credit card. But maybe I'll get myself something small." Lauren reviewed the requirements for the job one more time before hesitantly moving his cursor to click apply. As he typed in his name, out of habit, his fingers spelled out Lauren before he caught himself, feeling a tinge of embarrassment. He moved to erase it, but Nora interrupted. "Why not just keep it?" she suggested, leaning in with her usual grin. "Apply for the job as Lauren. After all, you already have an email under that name, right? And you've used it for those magazine subscriptions." Lauren hesitated, his fingers hovering over the keyboard. "I don't know, Nora. This is real, I'm getting paid real money. I don't want to get in trouble because I'm not really a girl." Nora sighed softly, her playful demeanor fading into something more serious. "Lauren, let's be real for a second. You are a girl. I mean, come on, look at you." Lauren blinked, taken aback. "What? No, I'm not. I'm just pretending, you know that." But deep down, something stirred. Lauren knew, even before Nora's words hit him, that there had been moments where he thought of himself as Lauren, and it was happening more often. It wasn't just pretend anymore. He spent all his time as a girl, even when he was supposed to be Lawrence. Women's clothes filled his wardrobe, and his daily routines were steeped in femininity, from his toiletries to his grooming habits. Putting on a bra and wearing it all day was second nature now. He painted his toenails last night without a second thought, and he has a favorite scent now. Nora's voice broke through to his thoughts. "You wear women's clothes all the time. You've swapped out your grooming products for ones meant for a girl. You spend every moment as Lauren, even when you don't realize it. You are her now." Lauren swallowed hard, his heart pounding. "But it's just all pretend, right?" Nora shook her head gently, her tone comforting yet firm. "You're not pretending anymore, Lauren. You've crossed over, and you know it. You've even started calling yourself Lauren when I'm not around. You've been identifying as a girl for a while now." Lauren opened his mouth to argue, but the words wouldn't come. Because Nora was right. He could feel it. The truth was there, pressing against him from every direction. He had become the girl Nora had always said he was, even if he had tried to deny it. A long silence stretched between them as Lauren sat there, staring at the name on the screen. Lauren. It felt natural, even comforting now. He had already crossed the line, long ago. Nora had now just pointed out the obvious. Nora interrupted the silence between them. So Lauren, what do you say? Right now, deep down, are you a boy? Or are you a girl? Looking down, he was wearing a pink lingerie-style dress with thin and delicate straps and a built-in bra. The dress was paired with a sheer baby pink patterned pantyhose, and he accessorized with clip-on earrings, a bracelet, and a necklace. Along with his wig and some light makeup, there was no question he looked like a girl. But Lauren had asked how he felt, and he was afraid to speak it out loud, what he had trouble admitting to himself. However, Lauren exhaled, the weight of the truth on his shoulders was too much. I think you're right. I feel like a girl, Lauren admitted. I don't know even when that happened, when I stopped being Lawrence, but I'm Lauren now, like for real now. But it's only in private. I'm not coming out, especially not to my mom or at school. This is just, for fun, you know? No, I guess it's she now. She felt a surge of relief as she spoke, justifying her transformation to herself. I don't want to be a girl permanently. I can go back to being Lawrence whenever I want to. Nora raised an eyebrow playfully. You sure your mom wouldn't want to meet her new daughter? She teased, a mischievous glint in her eye. Lauren shook her head firmly. No way. This is just between us. I'm only Lauren for now, it's not forever. I can stop whenever I want. Nora chuckled, acknowledging Lauren's stance. Okay. But for now, I'm proud of you for finally admitting who you are. Lauren gave a small smile, feeling a sense of accomplishment and acknowledgement that she had accepted herself, even if it was just for now. Nora grinned triumphantly. And I was right all along, wasn't I? You really are a girl. Lauren rolled her eyes, but couldn't help the smile tugging at her lips. With a deep breath, she clicked submit. In applying for the job, she confirmed that Nora was right, she was Lauren, and she was really a girl. Chapter 9: A Whole New World. I got the e-transfer. Lauren exclaimed excitedly to Nora the following Monday. After 4 intense days of work, Lauren had delivered a polished website to the client, earning the full $5,000 payment, plus a $200 bonus for finishing early. The money had been deposited into her account, and she could hardly contain her excitement. It's shopping time. Nora replied, equally excited, her eyes lighting up at the possibilities. Not so fast, I really have to pay off my credit card and top up my savings again, Lauren replied. Lauren was normally responsible with her money, but these past weeks had put more strain into her accounts than she was used to. Lauren paid off her entire credit card bill, feeling the weight of debt finally lifted. Then she transferred the rest of the money into her savings minus $100, which she set aside as a small reward for herself. $100? What are you going to get? Nora asked, nudging her playfully. More panties? A dress? Oh, what about those earrings you saw the other day? Lauren thought for a moment before shaking her head. Let me think about it, no need to spend it just this second. She smiled, remembering the recent arrival of her newest issues of Diva Gal and Chic Clique magazines. Besides, I've been dying to read the new magazines that came in the mail the other day. Fair enough, Nora said, plopping down beside her on Lauren's bed. But we're definitely going shopping again soon. The girls settled in, flipping through the pages of the glossy magazines, each article pulling them deeper into the world of fashion and lifestyle. As they read, an article about modern online etiquette courses caught Lauren's eye. It detailed how the rich and royalty were training their children to become graceful, polished young ladies through exclusive, online deportment lessons. "Oh!" Nora squealed. "We should totally try one of those online courses." Lauren laughed, shaking her head. "I don't know, Nora. I'm already too much of a girl than I should be." "Don't be silly," Nora teased. "Besides, you love doing those magazine quizzes anyway. This would just be a bit more focused. Come on, we can learn to be more like royal ladies. We'll do it together." Despite her initial hesitation, Lauren felt the pull of Nora's enthusiasm. She was right, Lauren did love those quizzes found in the magazines that Lauren now subscribed to regularly, and the idea of becoming even more graceful and ladylike intrigued her more than she cared to admit. After a bit of convincing, she relented. "Fine," Lauren said with a sigh, though a small smile tugged at her lips. "I'll sign up for a trial." With a sense of anticipation, Lauren clicked through the sign-up process for the online deportment class. Soon, the girls found themselves diving into the first module, an introduction to gracefulness. The module started with the basics: how to carry oneself with poise, maintain a gentle stride, and cultivate feminine elegance in everyday movements. Lauren followed along as the instructor on the screen demonstrated how to stand with perfect posture, the subtle art of walking with a soft sway, and how to make even the smallest gestures seem delicate and intentional. Nora sat beside her learning with her and offering commentary, but Lauren couldn't help but be absorbed in the lessons. As she practiced each movement, trying to glide from one end of the room to the other, Lauren found herself strangely engrossed. Her initial nervousness began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of ease. Each time she walked, it felt more natural, more graceful. And with every successful attempt, a spark of pride flickered inside her. Nora watched with a knowing smile. "See? You've got this, girl. I told you, it suits you." Lauren shot her a playful look but couldn't deny the sense of accomplishment bubbling up inside her. There was something about the lessons, learning how to sit with elegance, walk with purpose, even how to cross her legs with grace, that felt satisfying. They moved on to another section, focused on feminine gestures: how to speak with her hands without being too dramatic, how to nod or tilt her head just so when listening. Lauren practiced these subtle cues, and with each passing lesson, she felt herself slipping further into the role of Lauren. It wasn't just pretend anymore, she was learning how to present herself as a girl, and it felt surprisingly right. By the time they wrapped up the evening, Lauren was almost giddy. She had started the course out of curiosity, thinking it was just another part of her temporary girl experiment. But now, as she reflected on everything she'd learned in Module 1, she was actually pretty good at it. Femininity came more naturally to her than she could have thought. Nora was right, she was enjoying this more than she expected. More than that, maybe she was discovering something about herself that had always been there. The email address Lauren had created in part to sign up for her magazine subscriptions, the online deportment class, and the website building contract slowly opened up a whole new world for her, one she hadn't expected to explore so fully. The transition from Lawrence to Lauren wasn't just happening at home anymore, it was spilling over into her online life too, and soon it became a complete shift in her online identity. Her gaming account, once filled with memories of her old life, had undergone a transformation. The old, masculine username she'd used for years was replaced by her new profile name, Princess Laura 16, something softer, more feminine, and felt right in the moment. She even updated her profile picture, swapping out the faceless avatar for a cute, digital image of a unicorn wearing a crown that better reflected the girl she was pretending to be. At first, it felt strange, like she was playing dress-up online, just as she was doing in real life. But now, it didn't feel out of place at all. And it wasn't just her gaming persona. Lauren's new email address had given her access to an entirely new world. She was now part of message boards and discussion forums centered around her gaming as Lauren, but also on makeup, fashion, and everything else that came with being a girl. From video game forums to beauty tips, Lauren immersed herself in these communities, finding herself surrounded by girls who shared her interests. Slowly, all her online accounts were switched over to show her as Lauren and female. Lauren was having a lot of fun being a girl. It was exciting. But Lauren kept reminding herself that this wasn't permanent. It couldn't be. This was just for now, just for fun. She still thought of herself as Lawrence, even though she spent all of her time as Lauren these days. Nora had a way of pulling her deeper into this girlhood she never knew existed, but deep down, Lauren believed she could go back to being Lawrence whenever she wanted. At least, that's what she told herself. The anonymity of the internet gave her the freedom to be Lauren without consequence. She wasn't really changing, she reasoned she was just playing around. But as she scrolled through forum posts on Fashion World and Princess Journey, read fashion blogs, and watched makeup tutorials, Lauren realized something. She was having more fun as Lauren than she'd ever had as Lawrence. It was a strange feeling, but she didn't dwell on it. She had always been introverted as Lawrence, but as Lauren, she was part of a community, and she liked that. The validation she got from these new friends made her feel seen in a way Lawrence never was. But it didn't mean she wanted to be a girl permanently. It was just an escape, and another way to have fun with Nora. Nora, of course, watched it all unfold with a knowing smile. While she never bothered with social media herself, she loved watching Lauren dive deeper into this new world. Nora would sit beside Lauren, looking over her shoulder and throwing out suggestions or teasing remarks as Lauren scrolled through the latest fashion trends or debated with her which outfit Princess Laura should unlock next. "You're becoming a real social media butterfly," Nora teased one evening as Lauren completed a forum post about the use of love potions in the Princess Journey game. Lauren smirked, brushing it off. "It's just for fun, Nora. I'm not really a girl, but it's fun that they think I am." Nora gave her a look. "This again?" "You are a girl, silly." Lauren paused but quickly shrugged it off. "Well, yeah, for now. I mean, this had been fun, but it's not real." Nora's eyes twinkled with amusement. "If you say so. But I've never seen you enjoy yourself as much as you do now." Lauren couldn't deny it. "Okay, maybe I'm having more fun as Lauren than I did as Lawrence, but that doesn't mean anything. I'll go back eventually." Nora grinned, clearly unconvinced but choosing not to push further. "Sure, Lauren. But for now, just enjoy it." Lauren rolled her eyes playfully. She wasn't becoming a girl for real, this was just something to do for now. But as she flipped gears and started reading the latest fashion tips and beauty hacks, she couldn't shake the feeling that she liked this world. Liked being part of it. It felt like freedom. "Maybe it's because I've never had this much fun before," she thought to herself. "Maybe that's why I'm sticking with it." Nora leaned back, her grin ever present. "You're enjoying it more than you want to admit." "I know you are." Lauren shook her head, but a small smile played on her lips. "Maybe," she said quietly. "But it's not forever." Even as Lauren has accepted that she was fully a girl now, even if only temporarily, in her mind it was supposed to remain a private matter, with Nora and within her online identity as Lauren. At school she was still known as Lawrence. She made a conscious effort to present as a boy in public, even though she wore exclusively women's clothing now. Her shirts and tops were subtly feminine, just enough to slip under the radar, and she tried her best to carry herself as she used to. Lauren was particularly cautious around her mother, avoiding close contact to ensure that neither the outline of her bra nor the new scent of her feminine toiletries would raise suspicion. In Lauren's mind, this new life as a girl was still a secret. However, that wasn't entirely the case this Monday night. The online deportment course Lauren and Nora signed up for was having a live stream tonight. Lauren wasn't planning on joining, worried that the live video might expose her secret. What if someone figured out that she wasn't really a girl? I don't think it's a good idea, Nora, Lauren said, biting her lip. What if they notice I'm not like them? Nora waved a hand dismissively. Relax, Lauren. No one's going to notice anything. Just use the video filter and a little makeup and you'll be fine. They won't even know. But no buts. Nora interrupted with a playful grin. Come on, it's just a bunch of girls learning how to be more graceful. You're a girl too, it's going to be fun. Lauren hesitated but found herself nodding. As always, it was hard to say no to Nora. And maybe she was right, no one would notice. She'd been through enough of the deportment lessons already, and she was getting good at this. With a bit of makeup and the video filter, she could blend in without anyone knowing. All right, Lauren sighed, giving in. Let's do it. Lauren quickly applied some light makeup to enhance her already softened features. A little foundation, a dash of blush, and some subtle eye makeup to bring out her eyes. It wasn't too much, but just enough to make her feel more confident about being on camera. Once they were logged in and the video filter was active, Lauren could see herself on screen. She looked like a girl. More importantly, she felt like one. As the live stream session began, Lauren couldn't help but feel a little nervous. But as the instructor walked them through the deportment techniques they had been learning so far, proper posture, how to sit and stand gracefully, how to walk with poise, Lauren began to relax. She and Nora practiced along with the other girls on the stream, doing their best to mimic the movements on camera. Nora, of course, made it fun. Every now and then, she'd throw in a joke or make a silly face to lighten the mood, causing Lauren to stifle her giggles as they tried to remain serious in the session. See? Nora whispered with a wink. Told you it'd be fun. Lauren found herself smiling more than she expected. The session went smoothly, and by the end of it, she had forgotten her initial fear of being found out. Instead, she was fully immersed in the experience, practicing her movements and techniques as if she'd been doing it her whole life, and also chatting with girls from across the world. Okay, that wasn't so bad, Lauren admitted once the live stream ended. Nora smirked. Told you. You fit right in. Lauren chuckled, feeling a strange sense of accomplishment. She had done it, she had participated in a live deportment class, and no one had suspected a thing. For a brief moment, she felt like just another girl among girls. And it felt good. After Nora quietly slipped away to go home, Lauren was left alone with her thoughts. Getting ready for her mom to come home, Lauren changed out of her dress, swapping them for a plain t-shirt, a white hoodie and gray joggers, all technically unisex. She had also switched to one of her invisible bras, and removed her stay-up stockings for white ankle socks to cover her painted toes. It was a comfortable enough outfit to greet her mom in when she got home. Sitting at her computer, Lauren found herself engrossed in a familiar debate. She had been researching the various princes her Princess Laura character could potentially end up with in Princess Journey. Nora had lobbied for the adventuring prince, but Lauren felt more drawn to the noble, protective one. Nora had teased her earlier, laughing as she said, "That's such a safe fairy tale choice. Are you sure you don't want to go for the bad boy and try to change him?" But Lauren liked how kind the noble prince was to her character, and she couldn't ignore the plus 25 boost to Constitution that aligned with her character's build type. It just felt right for this playthrough. "You're such a girl," Nora had teased again, her voice light but knowing. "At least now I know what kind of guy you're into, the quiet but cute type." Although Nora had made the comment in jest, it stuck with Lauren long after Nora had left. Being a girl was a temporary and in private thing. But guys? That was a whole other level, one she had never considered before. The idea of being interested in men seemed distant and foreign, something she wasn't sure she was ready to confront. Could she really cross that step? And did she even want to? The thoughts lingered as Lauren stared at the screen, her mind torn between the fairy tale choices for her character and the more personal, complex decisions she might have to face in her own life. The sound of the garage door opening roused Lauren from her thoughts. Quickly, she glanced at herself in the mirror, double-checking to make sure she still passed as Lawrence for her mother. With a tissue, she gave her lips one last swipe, just in case her tinted chapstick was still too noticeable. As she bounded down the stairs, the jingle of her earrings caught her attention. She had forgotten to take off the clip-ons. Panicking, she pulled them off and shoved them into her pocket just as her mom walked through the door. Her mother was all smiles, and Lauren immediately went to greet her with a hug, something that had become increasingly rare between them. Her mom seemed especially happy, beaming as she embraced her child. Lauren savored the hug, although her mind was alert for any signs that her mother might suspect something amiss from her new life as Lauren. As they parted, Lauren noticed a certain look on her mother's face, as if she had something to share. Instinctively, Lauren braced herself. "I'm so sorry, honey," her mom began with a small sigh. "I found out today that I need to go to Hamilton this weekend. I'll be leaving after work on Thursday and won't be back until Sunday evening. I promise I'll make it up to you when I get back." Lauren hugged her mom again, telling her it was okay. "I'll just hang out with Nora while you're gone," she said. Her mother smiled, a teasing glint in her eyes. "I have to meet this girl one day, you know, the one who's captured my son's heart." Lauren laughed internally. If her mother only knew the truth. "Oh, trust me, Mom, it's not like that," she replied. "Nora and I are just best friends." "Are you sure about that?" her mother asked, raising an eyebrow. "Would you even know if she was interested in you?" Lauren giggled softly, shaking her head. "Oh, Mom, I'm pretty sure Nora doesn't see me as boyfriend material." Her mother chuckled, ruffling her child's hair. "Well, you never know," she said with a wink. As they finished catching up, Lauren couldn't shake the feeling that her mom's upcoming trip presented an opportunity for something, but what exactly, she wasn't sure yet. The next afternoon after school, Lauren casually mentioned to Nora about her mom leaving on a business trip for the weekend. She didn't expect much of a reaction, but the moment the words left her mouth, Nora's eyes lit up with excitement. "Do you know what this means?" Nora grinned, practically bouncing in her seat. "That's almost 3 full days where you can be Lauren. No need to worry about changing back into Lawrence's things at all." Lauren raised an eyebrow, thinking through the math. Nora, I think that's still only 2 days. I have school on Friday, remember?" Nora waved a hand dismissively. "Not if we skip school on Friday. Think about it. We'd have from Friday morning until Sunday night for you to stay as Lauren." And her grin widened mischievously, "This is the perfect opportunity for you to debut as Lauren in public." Lauren's heart skipped a beat. Going out as Lauren? She'd never even considered that before. Being Lauren had always been a private thing, a secret between her and Nora, and maybe the one time online. The thought of stepping outside, fully dressed as a girl, was both thrilling and terrifying. In theory, she was sure she could pass, but in practice? She wasn't so confident. "I don't know, Nora," Lauren admitted, worry tugging at her. "Cutting school and going out as a girl. What if someone recognizes me?" Nora waved her concerns away with a smirk. "Girl, trust me. No one's going to recognize you. You're totally a girl now, and no one's going to connect pretty Lauren with boring old Lawrence. Lauren bit her lip, still unsure. It was a big leap from where she was now, but the idea intrigued her. She had always kept her femininity hidden, but now that Nora was suggesting this, she couldn't help but wonder. Could she really do it? Tell you what, Nora continued, her voice softening. We'll take steps the rest of the week to get you ready. I promise, Lauren, you're going to love being out in the world as your true self. Lauren looked at Nora's excited face, feeling the familiar tug of her friend's confidence. Maybe Nora was right. Maybe she needed this weekend to fully embrace being Lauren. Chapter 10 Girl Friday preparations began in earnest for Lauren's debut weekend. The first thing she did was find another short website gig to help fund the weekend plans. It didn't take long before she landed a small contract, and every day after school for 3 days, Lauren would diligently work on it for an hour or two, until she delivered it to a grateful client on Thursday night. In between working on the website, Nora helped Lauren dive right into her preparations for her weekend outing. Together, they focused on fine-tuning Lauren's feminine deportment through the online course she had signed up for earlier. Nora was persistent in reminding Lauren on her deportment, pushing her to perfect her graceful movements and ladylike mannerisms. It was starting to get a little annoying, but Lauren knew Nora was just ensuring that she was as ready as she could be to make her public debut. Makeup practice had become a daily routine too, with Lauren putting on a full face of makeup as soon as she changed into her Lauren clothes every day after school. With Nora's feedback and Lauren's growing confidence, each day her makeup looked more polished. They even spent time working on her voice, with Lauren watching countless videos on how to speak more softly and with a higher pitch. Nora was also there again to ensure Lauren was always using her girl's voice when they were together. Outfit planning was another major part of the preparation. Lauren eagerly set aside her favorite pieces, trying them on in front of the mirror as Nora helped her coordinate outfits. She meticulously selected which skirts, dresses, and tops would be perfect for her weekend debut. Even her underwear became part of the plan. Lauren set aside her favorite pairs of panties, making sure she had the right ones for each special day. As the weekend drew closer, Lauren's excitement grew. She could hardly wait to step out into the world as the girl she had become. Friday morning came, and Lauren quickly slipped out of her bed, changing out of her feminine nightwear and into her old boy pajamas. She hurried downstairs just in time to catch her mom before she left for work. "Mom, I don't feel very good. Is it okay if I stayed home from school today?" Lauren feigned, doing her best to sound under the weather. Her mother immediately softened, concern crossing her face. "Of course, honey. I'm so sorry I won't be here. I hate that I have to be in Hamilton until Sunday night," she sighed. "But I'll try to leave early if I can." Lauren smiled, trying not to show her excitement beneath the surface. "It's okay, Mom. I think I just need a day to rest. Don't worry about me." Lauren watched as her mom called the school to leave a message before they embraced, and Lauren held her mom tightly, knowing this would be the last time she'd have to be Lauren's for the next few days. Her mom hugged her back, guilt written on her face. "I'll see you Sunday night," she said as she finally pulled away. "See you then, Mom," Lauren replied with a warm smile, waving her off as her mother left for the weekend. As soon as the door closed behind her, Lauren's heart raced with anticipation. The weekend of being Lauren, fully and completely, was just beginning. Lauren leaped into the shower, eager to prepare for the day ahead. She took her time, ensuring a close shave that left no trace of body hair, carefully smoothing her legs and underarms. Without the need for subtlety this weekend, she indulged in her routine, applying a little extra product and savoring the scent of her feminine body wash as it lingered on her skin. Wrapped only in a towel, Lauren stepped out of the bathroom feeling refreshed and ready until her heart nearly stopped in her chest. "Hey, girl!" Lauren gasped, nearly dropping her towel. Geez, Nora. You've got to stop freaking me out like that. Nora grinned, entirely unbothered. Sorry. I'm just so excited for your debut today. Did you call in sick? Lauren exhaled, still catching her breath. Yeah, I told my mom I wasn't feeling well, and she called the school on her way out. We're good. Perfect, Nora beamed. Then let's get you ready, princess. Lauren then went to her closet and stood in front of it, going back and forth over what to wear for her first public day out as a girl. She had desperately wanted to wear a dress, but when they were planning her outfits, she realized she didn't have any feminine shoes to match. Despite having 3 outfit options ready for today, she still felt a bit of frustration for not truly being able to wear what she had wanted. Ugh, why is this so hard? Lauren grumbled. As Lawrence, I could just throw anything on and be out the door in 5 minutes. Nora, lounging casually on the bed, smiled knowingly. That's because you're a girl now, and we take our time. We care about how we look as a whole. Lauren glanced over at Nora, teasing, you don't seem to have this problem. You wear the same thing all the time. Hey, Nora countered, I know what I like. After what felt like an eternity, Lauren finally settled on an option, a ladies' golf shirt paired with black shorts. No nylons today, but she slipped on a pair of pink socks that matched her shirt, allowing her to wear her sneakers comfortably. To finish the look, she added a few bracelets for some accessorizing flair. Okay, I think this works, Lauren said, standing in front of the mirror to assess her outfit. It's perfect, Nora encouraged with a smile. You look great. The girls had spent the past few days planning their weekend together, and this first day was all about getting Lauren comfortable with going out in public. Today's mission, to get her feet wet and pick up anything else she might need for the weekend, especially shoes and a few more outfits. They had even planned to stop at the salon for Lauren to get her nails done, since she would have at least 2 days to enjoy them. Lauren took a deep breath, her heart racing with excitement and nerves. Okay, let's do this. Lauren was a bundle of nerves as she walked with Nora toward the local salon. Every step felt deliberate as she mentally reminded herself to take smaller strides and subtly swing her hips, applying what she had learned from the online deportment class. She did her best to exude confidence, even though her heart was racing. For the most part, the few people who glanced her way assumed she was just another girl. Any stares were more likely drawn to the ever-animated Nora, who chatted beside her. Lauren had done some Googling the night before and found a salon that offered private appointments. Once they arrived, she checked in at the front, and the friendly nail tech led her to a private booth. Nora, whose signature red nails were still in pristine condition, waited outside with an encouraging smile. Inside the booth, Lauren felt her nerves spike. She nervously explained that she wanted something temporary, just enough to experience it without any long-term commitment. The nail tech smiled kindly and suggested a trim and polish package for both her fingers and toes. The polish would be easily removable with simple nail polish remover whenever she was ready. Lauren nodded, grateful for the option, and after a moment's thought, chose classic red just like Nora's. As the nail tech got to work, Lauren's nerves began to settle, and she found herself looking forward to seeing the final result. After Lauren's nails were polished to a brilliant red, the nail technician smiled and offered an unexpected gift, a free makeover. Lauren hesitated for a moment, but with a bit of gentle encouragement from the tech and the ever-supportive Nora, she agreed. The technician applied a subtle, long-lasting makeup that could be slept in and would naturally fade in 2 days, just enough time for Lauren to enjoy the look without any long-term commitment. The transformation was breathtaking. The makeup accentuated all of Lauren's feminine features, smoothing and hiding any lingering traces of masculinity. When she stepped out of the booth, Nora's jaw practically dropped. "Lauren, you look incredible." Nora exclaimed, her eyes wide with admiration. Lauren couldn't help but blush under the praise, feeling a newfound sense of confidence as she caught a glimpse of herself in the nearby mirror. She looked like a real girl. Next up on their agenda was the mall, and more specifically, the shoe store. At Nora's insistence, they dove into the world of footwear, with no fewer than 17 boxes of shoes for Lauren to try on. Each pair was different heels of various heights, flats, wedges, and everything in between. Nora insisted on a variety, ensuring Lauren would have shoes for any outfit she could wear. After what felt like an hour of trying on shoes, Lauren settled on 2 pairs of heels, one black, one nude, a pair of pink sneakers, and a comfortable pair of black flats. Walking out of the shoe store, Lauren felt like she was walking on air, her new shoes swinging lightly in the bags at her side. But then she noticed Nora's mischievous smile and immediately felt a sense of impending doom. "Hey, Lauren," Nora began, her voice dripping with playful intent. "Do you know your neighbors?" Lauren shook her head, feeling the tension rise. "Not really. Both of them seem to live elsewhere for most of the year." Nora's smirk widened. "So that means you have complete privacy in your backyard then?" Lauren's eyes narrowed in suspicion. "Why?" Without another word, Nora pointed to a nearby store one Lauren had noticed earlier but didn't think of it. What caught Nora's eyes was the bright sign on the front said it all: bikinis, $25. Oh no, Lauren thought, dread filling her stomach. She knew exactly where this was going. Nora's grin was unstoppable now. "Come on, Lauren. You've got the legs, the figure, and now the shoes. It's time to get a bikini and really embrace the weekend." Lauren tried to protest, but she knew there was no stopping Nora once she had an idea in her head. And with a sinking feeling, she followed her friend toward the beachwear store. Feeling like a duck out of water, Lauren could only point helplessly at the sign as they entered the beachwear store. Fortunately, the shop assistant was incredibly kind and eager to help. She guided Lauren through a variety of styles that were deeply discounted, all while offering advice on what would best suit her figure. After some back and forth, Lauren finally settled on a classic red tie-on bikini. When she tried it on in the changing room, she couldn't deny the strange but exciting rush that came over her. Even without breasts, the bikini hugged her body perfectly, making her feel undeniably feminine. Even more satisfying, she managed to tie it on herself without any help. Lauren gazed at her reflection, almost in disbelief. It felt surreal. Wearing a bikini was something she had never imagined herself doing. But here she was, and the feeling wasn't as foreign as she had expected. She managed to justify the purchase in her mind, thinking, "It's only $25, and it's only Nora who's going to see me in it anyway, and maybe I can wear it in the shower in secret sometimes." That seemed like a safe enough compromise. After changing back, Lauren walked out of the store, the bikini in her bag, a quiet thrill bubbling inside her. After leaving the beachwear store, Lauren and Nora continued to wander the mall, chatting about the weekend ahead. As they strolled, they passed a pop-up kiosk offering free ear piercings with the purchase of any earrings. Lauren glanced at it nervously, trying not to give it too much thought. She had no intention of getting her ears pierced today, or ever. Nora, though, was already eyeing the display of dainty earrings. "These would look so cute on you," she mused, pointing to a pair of silver studs as they browsed the rack. "I'm not getting my ears pierced, Nora," Lauren muttered, feeling anxious just standing near the piercing station. As Lauren sifted through the earrings to humor Nora, a friendly sales associate approached. "Would you like to try a pair?" she asked cheerfully. "We're offering free piercings with any earring purchase today." Lauren opened her mouth to decline, but her thoughts were a bit scrambled. She glanced nervously at Nora, who simply raised an eyebrow, giving her that familiar, playful look that Lauren could never quite resist. Before Lauren could fully form her answer, the sales associate smiled warmly, already assuming her hesitation was just nerves. "Don't worry, it's super quick, and you won't feel a thing." Lauren's heart raced. She hadn't really intended to do this, but somehow everything seemed to be moving so fast. The associate was already guiding her to the chair, prepping the piercing gun, removing her magnetic earrings, and setting out the silver studs Nora had pointed out earlier. "I can't believe I'm doing this," Lauren thought as she reluctantly sat down. The associate continued to chat soothingly, offering reassurances. "This will just take a second, ready?" she asked, not waiting for much of a response before positioning the piercing gun. "Wait," Lauren began, but before she could stop it, there was a quick click, and the first piercing was done. A second click followed just as fast, and it was over. "There. All set," the associate said with a smile, holding up a mirror for Lauren to see. Lauren blinked, stunned, as she reached up to touch her newly pierced ears. What just happened? She thought, staring at the small silver studs in disbelief. She had been swept up in the moment, and now she had pierced ears. "See? You look amazing," Nora said beside her. Lauren stared at her reflection, the weight of her new earrings suddenly feeling very real. "How am I going to explain this to Mom?" she thought, already dreading the conversation or figuring out how to hide it altogether. The last item on Lauren and Nora's list for the day was the most important, shopping for an outfit that would mark Lauren's formal debut as herself. Although today had technically been Lauren's first public appearance, it was just a prep day, a way to get her feet wet before tomorrow, when she would step out and feel like she was coming out to the world, even if her transformation was still a secret. Lauren and Nora spent hours searching through racks of dresses at 3 different stores. Finally, at the 3rd boutique, Lauren found it the perfect dress. It was an elegant, tan-colored fitted dress with short sleeves and a high collar neckline. It wasn't flashy, but the cut and fabric were just right, hugging her body in a way that made her feel undeniably feminine. She tried it on, staring at herself in the mirror, twirling a little as the hem of the dress swayed with her movement. She loved it. It fit perfectly, enhancing her shape without feeling over the top. There was just one problem. "It's a little too formal to wear casually," Lauren said, tugging at the dress slightly, feeling a bit torn. Nora, leaning against the door of the fitting room, shook her head immediately. "Are you kidding? You look amazing in that dress. It would be a crime not to wear it. You'll figure out where to wear it. Trust me, tomorrow we'll think of something, and you'll be turning heads." Lauren hesitated for a moment, but as she admired herself again in the mirror, she couldn't deny that she looked good. And for the first time, she felt confident enough to wear something this elegant. "Okay, you're right," she finally agreed with a smile. "I'll get it." As they made their way through the checkout line, Lauren had only planned on buying that one outfit. But, of course, Nora had other ideas. Soon, Lauren found herself walking out with several more dresses, skirts, and tops that Nora convinced her to try on just for fun. "Last one," Nora said with a grin, pulling Lauren toward a rack of casual summer clothes. "You should get something for relaxing, too." Lauren groaned. "Nora, I think I have enough." "Just one more," Nora said, pointing to a mannequin wearing jean shorts and a beach top. "For when you're lounging around at home, or, when you're wearing your bikini in the backyard and want to venture out a little." Lauren's face flushed at the thought, but she gave in. The outfit was cute and casual, and it would give her some cover if she decided to wander out of the backyard in her new bikini. By the time they were done, Lauren's hands were full of shopping bags. "I can't believe I bought so much," she muttered, shaking her head in disbelief. Nora grinned as they headed back to Lauren's place. "Well, you'll look incredible tomorrow. But I think you need to find another contract soon to pay off all of this shopping." Lauren laughed. "You're probably right." Ordering a pizza, the girls settled into Lauren's house after their busy day of shopping. As they waited, Lauren eagerly tried on all of the outfits she'd bought, one after the other, ensuring they fit perfectly. She removed the tags from each piece, tossing them into the laundry to wash before wearing them out. Then, she slipped on her new shoes, including a cute pair of leather ankle boots she had found at the last store they were at. The heels were a bit awkward to walk in, and she realized she'd need to practice and break them in over time. But the one item she scrutinized the most was the bikini. She stood in front of the mirror, trying it on again, and felt torn. It made her feel so feminine, she admitted to herself, a flutter of excitement and anxiety mixing inside her. But the self-consciousness crept in as well. She didn't have any breasts to fill out the bikini top, and it made her feel incomplete. After staring at her reflection for a few moments longer, she sighed, leaving the tag on. "I'll sleep on it," she muttered, deciding to wait and see if she'd keep the bikini or return it. After changing out of her new clothes, Lauren decided to slip into her new pajama set. Nora had planned to stay the night, making it Lauren's first slumber party experience as a girl, no less. As she stood in the bathroom, brushing her teeth and looking at herself in the mirror, something shifted within her. All she saw staring back was a girl. Her freshly applied makeup, her long, pretty red nails, and the new earrings glimmering faintly from her freshly pierced ears. It was undeniable Lauren had transformed in ways she never imagined. She reached up, lightly touching the small stud earrings, a reminder of how far she had already come. "I can always take them out," she thought, but her hands remained still, hesitant to undo the transformation she had begun. Lauren's mind wandered, thinking back to the person she used to be. Lawrence. She was drifting further and further away from him with every step toward femininity. It wasn't just today's events, it was all of it. The makeup, the clothes, the habits. All of it was shifting her identity, and she could feel it pulling her deeper into her new life. "It's still temporary," she whispered, almost pleading with her reflection. Lawrence is still in there somewhere. But even as she said the words, she wasn't entirely convinced. Nora's laughter echoed from the other room, and Lauren glanced back at herself one more time. The weekend was just beginning, and the only question lingering in her mind was how much further could she go before there was no going back. Coming out of the bathroom in her comfy pajamas, Lauren quickly tucked the new bikini back into her drawer, out of sight. She didn't want to give Nora any ideas if she saw it. She definitely tried to convince her to wear it out, and Lauren wasn't ready for that. Lauren also rummaged her dresser to find something for Nora to wear for the night. The sleepover had been a spontaneous decision, sparked by the fact that Lauren's mom was away, allowing her to stay in girl mode. Since Nora hadn't come prepared, Lauren felt bad that her friend didn't have anything to sleep in. But, as always, Nora waved it off with a grin. "I'll manage," Nora said easily. "I can sleep in this, don't worry." True to her style, Nora remained dressed in her signature look: black skirt, punk-style tights, clunky shoes, a purple t-shirt, and her ever-present jacket. Relieved that Nora didn't mind, Lauren turned back to her own routine, slipping into her new heels to break them in. She'd been practicing walking in them ever since they returned, determined to make the heels feel more natural. The rest of the evening was filled with their usual routine. They discussed their plans for tomorrow, with Nora hinting at a surprise. "We missed someone today," Nora teased, leaving Lauren curious. She also suggested a trip to the local museum, saying the elegant dress Lauren bought earlier would be the perfect outfit for such an outing. With plans loosely sketched, they spent the night gaming, working through another module of their online deportment course, and diving into fashion world. Between rounds, they flipped through the latest celebrity gossip and fashion trends in Lauren's new magazines. The whole time, Lauren's new heels clicked against the floor as she moved, becoming more familiar with each step. As the night wound down, the house grew quieter, and eventually, the lights went out. From the darkness, the two girls continued chatting, their voices soft and sleepy. Lauren, already snuggled into bed, felt more comfortable in her girl mode than she ever had before. Even though she had offered to share the bed with Nora several times, her friend stayed true to her independent spirit, choosing to sit in the chair by the window instead. "I'm good right here," Nora said with a playful smile in her voice. "I've slept in worse places." Lauren smiled back. "Good night, Nora." "Good night, Princess," Nora teased, the title still making Lauren blush a bit. And with that, the house fell quiet again. Lauren dozed off, her mind buzzing with thoughts of tomorrow and the exciting new steps ahead. Chapter 11 Pricey Enhancements. Lauren woke up to find that Nora had already left. Assuming she'd gone home to change, Lauren eagerly got ready for the exciting day ahead. She took her time in the shower, pampering herself with every step, using all of her favorite products to make sure she felt clean and refreshed. Today was going to be special, and she wanted to feel her best. After toweling off, Lauren opened her dresser and took out the pair of panties she'd been saving for today, along with a bra that matched perfectly. She smiled to herself as she pulled out a brand new package of sheer black pantyhose. Once all her supporting garments were in place, she turned her attention to the elegant dress she had bought the day before. As she slipped it on, the fabric clung perfectly to the small curves of her body, making her feel wonderful, feminine, and graceful. Stepping into the bathroom, Lauren moved to the next part of her routine. The long-lasting makeup from the salon was still holding up well, so she only needed to touch up her eyeliner and mascara. She brushed through her now chin-length natural hair, smiling as it framed her face in a way that felt undeniably feminine. For the final touch, she spritzed her favorite perfume, relishing the fact that today, she didn't have to hide the scent at all. With a deep breath, she admired herself in the mirror. She looked marvelous. This was the pinnacle of her journey so far. This was Lauren, fully embraced and radiant. Just as she was about to leave the bathroom, she heard Nora in her bedroom. Evidently, she didn't need a lot of time to get ready and come back. "Looking good, Princess. Today's going to be amazing." Lauren couldn't help but smile, her excitement bubbling up again. Lauren followed Nora down the street, still unsure where they were going. As they walked, a swirl of emotions brewed inside her. Like yesterday, there was a nervousness about being seen as Lauren out in public. Yesterday had been a dry runaway to test the waters. But today was different. Today, she was dressed fully as Lauren, completely embracing her feminine self, and that both thrilled and terrified her. Soon, they arrived at the familiar strip mall, home to the drugstore and the lingerie shop owned by Madame Dubois. Nora, should we really be doing underwear shopping again?" Lauren asked nervously, glancing at the shop's entrance. Nora grinned mischievously. "No, silly. I thought you'd like to show Madame Dubois the girl you've become." Lauren froze in her tracks. She was okay with being out in public as Lauren, but interacting with someone she had met as Lawrence? That was another story entirely. Nora nudged her gently. "Come on, she'll be thrilled. Who knows, you might even get some free stuff." Lauren bit her lip, her mind racing. She wasn't sure she was ready for this. But, as always, she couldn't say no to Nora. Taking a deep breath, she walked to the door, pushing it open as the bell above chimed softly. "Hello?" Lauren called out hesitantly, her voice softer than she intended. Madame Dubois appeared from the back of the store, her eyes lighting up with a welcoming smile as she approached. "Bonjour, welcome to my boutique. Please me know if I may be of assistance." Madame Dubois did not recognize Lauren, but her eyes scanned her up and down, taking in the elegant dress, the makeup, the poise of the young woman before her. Lauren glanced over at Nora, who gave her an encouraging thumbs up. In her best girl's voice, Lauren introduced herself cautiously. Madame Dubois? It's me, Lauren. You helped me buy my first bras a couple of weeks ago? You said more boys should enjoy femininity? Madame Dubois nearly dropped the clipboard she was holding, her eyes widening in surprise. Slowly, the connection dawned on her. The shy boy from weeks ago had transformed into this graceful, elegant girl standing before her. Oh, mon Dieu! Ma fille timide! Madame Dubois exclaimed, slipping into a mixture of English and French. This is a wonderful surprise. Vous êtes très belle. She gushed, stepping forward to take a closer look. I knew there was a beautiful girl inside of you, and now here she is. How do you feel? Lauren shifted nervously, but the warmth in Madame Dubois' voice soothed her. It's been an interesting few weeks, but I think I really like being like this. I like being a girl. She blushed, glancing down for a moment. And I have to say, the panties you helped me choose last time, they're my favorite to wear now. Nora chimed in with her usual playful tone. You should know that I had a hand in convincing Lauren here that she's really a girl, you know, in case you were thinking of a reward or something. Madame Dubois gave a slight chuckle, but her attention remained fully on Lauren, ignoring Nora's comment. You've truly embraced your femininity, haven't you? She said, beaming at Lauren. Lauren couldn't help but smile, feeling at home in this moment dressed as a woman, standing in a beautiful lingerie store, being praised for her transformation. It felt so right. An idea seemed to pop into Madame Dubois' head as she glanced over Lauren once more, this time with a more discerning eye. Ma fille, she said thoughtfully, humor an old woman and follow me. Curious, Lauren nodded and followed Madame Dubois to the changing rooms. Nora trailed behind them, taking a seat on a stool outside the stall as Madame Dubois turned to Lauren with a kind but serious expression. Take your dress off and wait for me, Madame instructed gently. Feeling a mix of curiosity and nerves, Lauren stepped into one of the stalls, drawing the curtain closed behind her. She carefully let her dress slide down before folding it neatly on the bench. Moments later, Madame Dubois returned, holding something that looked like a beige one-piece swimsuit. This, Madame said with a twinkle in her eye, is a foundation garment. It will help give you more curves, smooth out the parts that need smoothing, and enhance where you need a little boost. Madame handed the garment to Lauren, who slipped into it, feeling the snug but surprisingly comfortable fit as it molded to her body. The fabric was soft yet firm, and it hugged her frame in a way that felt supportive. Madame Dubois pointed to the button flaps between the legs, explaining how Lauren could snap and unsnap them for bathroom use. She mentioned that the garment had been returned by a customer, and though she had repaired it, she could no longer sell it, so she was gifting it to Lauren. Once the fit was confirmed, Madame winked and said, "Brace yourself, ma fille." Cleverly built into the garment was a system of adjustable straps. With a practiced tug, Madame Dubois pulled the sides of the garment tighter. Lauren gasped softly as she felt the garment cinch around her waist, gently compressing it to give her a more defined, feminine shape. Voila! Madame said proudly, standing back to admire her work. Now, put your dress back on. Lauren did as instructed, slipping the dress back over her shoulders and smoothing it down over the foundation garment. The transformation was remarkable. The garment had subtly accentuated her waist, giving her a curvy silhouette. Her chest and hips looked more defined, and the fabric smoothed out her belly and lower regions, enhancing her overall feminine appearance. Lauren turned to face the mirror, her eyes wide in amazement. She couldn't believe how much more feminine she looked with the simple addition of the foundation garment. It was as if the garment had worked magic on her body. Madame Du Bois smiled warmly. It's a small gift for you, ma chère. You wear it well. Lauren blushed, glancing at Nora, who gave her an approving nod. Madame Du Bois then furrowed her brow once more, as if debating something internally. After a moment, she smiled and said, "Un moment, ma belle fille." She disappeared briefly into the back room and returned with a small pink box, tied closed with delicate pink ribbons. Even before she opened it, Lauren could tell the contents were something special, something expensive. Madame Du Bois untied the ribbons and carefully lifted the lid, revealing what looked like two soft, flesh-toned sacks with a pebbled surface. Nora leaned in, peeking over Lauren's shoulder with curiosity. As Madame Du Bois flipped one of the sacks over, the realization dawned on Lauren they were adhesive breast forms, and these ones matched her skin tone. These, Madame explained gently, will help complete your shape. With careful hands, she applied the adhesive forms to Lauren's chest. Lauren felt the slight weight of them immediately, and as she moved, they shifted naturally with her body, adding a new dimension to her feminine appearance. Madame Du Bois took a makeup brush and applied a light contouring powder between the forms, creating the illusion of a natural furrow. "Now, let's finish the look," Madame said, smiling. Once everything was back in place, the bra on, the foundation garment snug, and the straps readjusted, Lauren stepped out and faced the mirror. She gasped. The transformation was breathtaking. The breast forms, enhanced by the subtle touch of makeup, completed her look. She no longer saw any hint of Lawrence staring back at her. Only Lauren, a woman in only her underwear, and yet looked completely real and radiant. Madame Du Bois beamed with pride, while Nora gave an approving nod, clearly impressed by the transformation. Putting her dress back on, Lauren couldn't help but love how she looked and felt, especially with her new forms. They added a finishing touch to her transformation, making her appearance feel complete. Curious and excited, she asked, "How much are they?" Madame Du Bois scanned the elegant box they came in, and Lauren's heart sank when the price popped up, $650. "I'm sorry, ma chérie," Madame said softly, "but these are top of the line. You can even sleep and swim in them." Lauren's heart broke at the cost. She turned, intending to return to the changing room to remove them, knowing it would be irresponsible to spend that much just to help her pretend to be a girl. Even if she found another contract to pay for them, it seemed too extravagant. But before she could take a step, Madame held up a hand. "Wait, ma fille, I may have a solution for you." Curious, Lauren turned back. "I run this store by myself," Madame began, her voice thoughtful. 6 days a week, only closing on Tuesdays. If you could come work here with me part-time after school, say, 2 or 3 times a week, from 5 to 9 p.m. you can help with inventory, folding, and maybe even with some of the computer work. In exchange, I'll give you the forms as part of your compensation." Nora's eyes widened, and she burst out, "Oh my God, Lauren, you have to. Think of the discounts. Besides, your mom doesn't get home until after 10 anyway. She'd never know." Lauren felt torn. This was a huge leap. Coming out in public as Lauren was one thing, but working as a girl was something else entirely. It was a big, serious step. But as she glanced at her reflection, at how perfectly the forms completed her look, she felt a strong reluctance to take them off. They made her feel whole, like this was how she was meant to be. After a few moments of internal debate, Lauren sighed softly and nodded. "Okay," she said, her voice hesitant but firm. "I'll start next week, twice a week." Madame Du Bois smiled warmly. "Très bien, ma fille. You won't regret it." And as Lauren looked at herself once more in the mirror, she couldn't help but feel a sense of both excitement and nervousness. This was another step toward fully embracing Lauren, and there was no turning back now. As Lauren left the boutique, her mind buzzed with a swirl of emotions. She adored how the new forms made her look and feel more complete, more like herself, but the price weighed heavily on her. Working 2 days a week at the boutique for Madame Dubois was a big commitment, especially with the added challenge of continuing to balance her now dual life. Sensing her hesitation, Nora gave her a reassuring smile. "You look amazing, Lauren," she said softly, her eyes sparkling with pride. Despite the internal struggle, Lauren couldn't help but feel a boost of confidence at Nora's words. It was hard not to smile when she looked down at herself, seeing the graceful curves and feminine silhouette the forms gave her. The little things like how her dress now hugged her body or the way her posture subtly shifted made her feel more in tune with who she was becoming. But was it really worth working 2 days a week just to maintain this part of herself? Nora's voice broke through her thoughts. "I know what you need," she said with a mischievous grin. "Let's go to the museum. It's the only real attraction here in Rosedale." Lauren had always wanted to visit the museum, curious about the town's small historical collection but never quite making time to visit. It seemed like a perfect, low-key place where she could be out in public, seen but not pressured to interact too much with people. That idea alone made her feel a little more at ease. "Come on," Nora urged, already starting in the direction of the museum. "It'll be fun. A nice, quiet place for you to enjoy yourself without all the stress." Lauren nodded, feeling a bit of the tension ease from her shoulders. Following Nora's lead, they made their way to the museum. When they arrived, the building itself was quaint but charming, a reflection of the town's history. It had the kind of modest architecture that suggested it housed small but interesting exhibits. Stepping through the doors, Lauren was greeted by the cool air and the soft echo of footsteps on the marble floor. It was a peaceful atmosphere, the perfect place to blend in without drawing attention. Approaching the kiosk, Lauren retrieved her admission ticket, feeling a small flicker of excitement as she handed over the money. Turning around, Lauren found Nora had already crossed over to the other side of the ticket gate. "Let's go," Nora said, her voice full of anticipation. Together, they moved toward the first exhibit. Lauren's nerves gradually settled as they wandered through the quiet halls. The exhibits, filled with artifacts and historical displays, gave them plenty to look at and discuss. As they drifted from one exhibit to the next, the small museum turned out to be far more interesting than she and Nora had expected. They giggled and whispered through the exhibits, often drawing curious glances from other visitors. Stepping out of the museum, Lauren's stomach growled, reminding her that she hadn't eaten in hours. Across the parking lot, Lauren's eyes landed on something promising: a field filled with rows of food trucks. It looked like a food truck festival. Nora grinned, her eyes already lighting up. "Let's go," she urged, already moving in that direction. Lauren didn't need much convincing, following the enticing smells and vibrant sights of the food trucks. Though she felt a bit overdressed for such a casual event, the lively, welcoming atmosphere soon put her at ease. She began to forget all about her outfit, the public, or even the fact that she was out as Lauren. She was just another girl enjoying a day out. After browsing the options, Lauren settled on an Italian deli sandwich with all the fixings from a truck decorated with a large Italian tomato. Handed a loaded tray, Lauren awkwardly balanced her tray in one hand while fumbling with her wallet in the other. She struggled to put her change back into her purse, her fingers slipping as she tried to manage everything at once. Finding a nearby picnic bench, she sat down, relieved to reorganize herself. Just as she was about to leave to go back to Nora, a voice interrupted her. "Hey! Mind if we share the table?" Lauren's heart froze mid-motion. She glanced up, and to her surprise, the group of teenagers standing before her wasn't unfamiliar. Megan and Julia were in a few of her classes, along with their boyfriends, Coleman, and Jacob. Before Lauren could gather her thoughts to respond, Julia and Megan had already settled at the table, chatting casually as if they had known her for years. Clearly, they didn't recognize her as Lawrence. Caught off guard but relieved, Lauren forced a smile. Sure, she managed, trying to keep her voice light. Megan smiled warmly at her. Nice choice, they make great sandwiches, she said, already striking up a conversation as if they were longtime friends. Terrified of being recognized, Lauren still couldn't deny the unexpected thrill of being included. Aside from Nora, this was her first real interaction with kids her age since moving to Rosedale. Under the table, Lauren discreetly texted Nora to let her know what was happening and to come join them. Lauren found herself fitting in seamlessly with Megan, Julia, Coleman, and Jacob. Her initial fears that they might recognize her as Lawrence from school quickly melted away. The more they talked, the more Lauren realized she wasn't just passing as a girl, she was being accepted as one. After they finished their meals, Megan turned to her with a bright smile. "Hey, we're all heading over to Coleman's place to hang out for the rest of the evening. You should totally come with us, Lauren," she said, the casual invitation hitting Lauren with a wave of excitement and panic at the same time. Lauren's heart raced. It was the first time since moving to Rosedale that she had been invited to something, and a part of her desperately wanted to say yes. But there was a risk, a huge one. Spending more time around them meant a higher chance of slipping up. And there was still Nora, whom she had left behind at the picnic bench. "Thanks so much for the invite, but I think I'll have to pass tonight," Lauren said with a soft smile. "Maybe next time?" Megan pouted a little but nodded. "Totally. We should hang out again for sure." Before they parted ways, they exchanged phone numbers and emails, and Lauren's heart swelled with a feeling she hadn't experienced in so long, a sense of belonging. But as they walked away, it hit her. They only knew her as Lauren, which meant any future interactions would be as a girl. She'd have to keep this up if they wanted to hang out again. Still, that was a problem for later. Tonight, Lauren basked in the joy of finally fitting in, and for once, she didn't feel like the invisible, lonely Lawrence who had arrived in Rosedale just a few months ago. As she approached the picnic bench where she had left Nora, she felt a pang of guilt. Nora had been waiting for her this whole time. "Sorry I left you hanging, Nora," Lauren said, sitting down beside her. "Why didn't you come join us?" Nora smiled knowingly, shaking her head. "You were having too much fun. I didn't want to intrude. Besides," she added with a playful smirk, "you didn't need me in that moment. You're really coming into your own, Lauren." They began their walk back to Lauren's place, the warm evening air filled with a comfortable silence. Nora glanced over at her. "It's fun being a girl, isn't it? You've really come out of your shell today." Lauren nodded, a content smile on her face. "Yeah, today was amazing. I actually felt like I belonged for the first time in a long time." But as she walked, a thought gnawed at the back of her mind. Today had been great, no doubt, but it was getting harder to imagine going back to being Lawrence. And the real question was, did she even want to? That night, as Lauren lay in bed, the events of the day played over and over in her mind. Nora hadn't stayed the night after a long day. She had gone home, leaving Lauren to her thoughts. Alone in the quiet of her room, Lauren faced the truth she had been avoiding for weeks. She would be lying to herself if she didn't admit that she preferred the life of Lauren to Lawrence. As Lauren, she felt like someone who was seen, valued, and embraced. It was a stark contrast to the invisible existence she had led as Lawrence. More than that, she realized she didn't feel like a boy anymore. Her new forms felt like an official marker, signaling to the world that she was a girl now. Even though she knew they weren't real, they felt like they had always belonged to her, filling a part of her she hadn't realized was empty. That's why she didn't take them off before bed. Instead, she carefully adjusted, trying to find a comfortable position to sleep with them on. She couldn't bear to remove them, not when they made her feel so complete. But then there was the price. A job. She was going to be working as Lauren now, at Madame Dubois' boutique, surrounded by lace and femininity. And rather than feeling terrified, Lauren felt a surge of excitement at the opportunity. It was as if everything was aligning, and she couldn't help but smile at the thought of her new life. She had accepted weeks ago that she had become a girl, at least in private, but tonight it was different. Tonight, the fear wasn't about whether or not she was truly a girl, it was the creeping realization that she might not be able to go back to being Lauren's. And as much as she tried to push that fear aside, it lingered, keeping her from sleep.